Hey, we're going to cover the latest Major Order success message, and we'll also go over a new Galactic terminal message. Not only that, but I'll also explain why Helldivers 2 wasn't review bombed recently. Plus, we have so much more to talk about. If you enjoy my content, please support the channel by tapping the thumbs up button below the video. Let's jump right in. We're going to start the video off by discussing the Major Order. I know many Helldivers thought we were going to lose this one. However, it looks like we've won it after all. We can see right here that we defended Hellmire and liberated the last planet on the Illuminate side, which means we'll receive the DSS upgrade so we can send it into the Gloom. Not to mention, we know from the previous Major Order success message that High Command explained that the logistics support will aid liberation efforts on nearby hive worlds. All I have to say is that it'll be great to finally be able to claim a few planets inside the Gloom, and I'm excited to venture deeper inside. Anywho, we do have a Major Order success message, and here's what High Command wrote. In a triumph of territorial integrity, the Helldivers have reseized the worlds necessary to enable accelerated DSS augmentations. The atmosphere of Carlia has been successfully permeated with polymer aerosols, coating the democratic space station precisely and evenly. The vessel is now fully capable of traversing the Gloom. Crew-wide spore quarantine protocol has been met with resounding applause by DSS employees and contractors. Laminated disinfection reminders are heeded, respected, and peer enforced. Finally, a prototype atmospheric autoclave has been installed aboard the DSS. The device is capable of sterilizing 50 kilometers of atmospheric gloom spores per minute. While this will not result in a significant decrease in gloom cover on a planet, it will significantly lessen the Terminids' advantage on the planet. Thanks to the Helldivers, the DSS has gained the capability to not just traverse, but actively counteract the gloom. Wow, so that right there is interesting, and it sounds like the DSS upgrade is going to help us tremendously with the Gloom planets. And I'm excited for the next Major Order because, well, yeah, we're going to be able to start liberating planets within the Gloom, which is going to make a huge difference. And eventually, maybe we'll be able to remove the Gloom. However, if you recall, we recently discovered the E711, so maybe not, because there's no E711 if the Gloom is removed, correct? At least if I recall correctly, that's pretty much what's going on because we dig up the oil, and that is the E711. So, I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Speaking of the Gloom, over on the official Helldivers Discord, we've received word that there's a new Galactic terminal message. If you didn't know, this is Arrowhead's official Discord bot that posts messages that Helldivers must decrypt. Well, not must, but it's an option. And usually it reveals stuff about the story that you wouldn't find anywhere else. So that's what we're going to cover right now. What we have today is about an emergency evacuation notice. Here's what Galactic Terminal wrote. Emergency evacuation notice 14/7/2184. Extreme gloom event. Class A, B citizens to landing pads. Class C citizens to designated queuing stations. Class D, E citizens be ready to leave for designated queuing stations. Await further notice. Remaining citizens, shelter in place. Well, if you're a Class A or B citizen, then you were given a head start to leave as soon as possible, and Class C citizens seem to have had a decent head start as well, but man, it seems some citizens had to wait in a shelter, which is pretty messed up. It goes to show you how crazy the Helldivers universe can be, not to mention, in a major order success message a few months back, High Command informed us that if you had a child who was tall, they were given the right to evacuate as soon as possible. I can't remember exactly if it was on the automaton or Terminid side. If you remember or recall, let me know in the comments. Either way, there are definitely some interesting things to know about in the Helldivers universe, and I thought this was well worth sharing. Alrighty, moving along, what we should do at some point in the future is either target Seychelles Beach so we can stop the Illuminate from advancing towards Forge Sanctuary and potentially destroying our newly built city called New Yearning City, which is one of the new maximum security cities. If we could do this, it'll help out so much. This will force the Illuminate to attack Seychelles Beach again or attack Eucoria. The Illuminate, of course, cannot attack from Mar or Mare since there are no supply lines connected to Fort Sanctuary. The other idea is to completely close off the Illuminate by attacking Valmox. This was suggested by Helldiver on the Glitch Unlimited Discord. Shout out to Yoshenko. Overall, perhaps aiming for Seychelles Beach would be a great idea first, but honestly, I think either way is great because we'll make a huge difference on the Galactic map. Next up, we're going to talk about Helldivers 2 on Steam DB. I know it's been quite a while since I've brought up anything with Steam DB, and if we check out the update history, we could tell that Arrowhead is just doing a lot right now. For example, if we go to update history, we could tell in the history right here, it says that they updated some files 3 hours ago, and all the way down to even 20 hours ago, which apparently they changed about, what, 10 items here? Yes, 10 items. Man, I need to get my eyes checked. And they also made some adjustments with 4 items 2 days ago, and for some reason the review percentage was changed. Not entirely sure what that means. Nevertheless, if we go further down, they've also changed 17 items. So they're doing a lot here in terms of updating the game. We're not entirely sure what's going on here. Are they just buffing weapons? Maybe. But we do know that they're going to patch a ton of issues. Crashes, freezing, performance issues are going to hopefully be resolved. But yeah, this is well worth covering as well because I think it's just interesting to see how much they're doing right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. If I see anything else, I'll be sure to keep you updated in the near future. So with that being said, let's continue along here because I actually want to cover a post I missed previously. We can see that there's a Helldiver here that says that the developers Arrowhead should actually do some more testing and all that stuff, right? Like more playtest. And Sham's responding that it's a complex problem, that it's because it's more fundamental, tech dev practices, culture, plus QA, and that this is their first time running a big of a ship. So yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons. Yet I feel like a lot of you out there are going to be like, well, that's no excuse because, you know, you should just do more testing. I don't know how it is, but yeah, maybe they should open up, I don't know, public test servers. Now sure, at this point you're probably thinking, well, won't somebody leak something out? That could happen. What they should do is make the test servers or the public test servers a small batch, like a few people that can join, and force them, make them sign an NDA so this way, you know, nothing is revealed and, you know, hey, if you do so, you're gonna get a lawsuit or something. I don't know. Something like that could potentially stop leaks. Okay, I'd like to answer a question now I was recently asked. A subscriber commented on a previous video and wanted to know if Helldivers 2 was review bombed recently. The answer is no, it wasn't, and I'll explain why so you all know. We can see the reviews are now mixed on Steam. I talked about this recently, so does this mean it was review bombed? No, not at all. The reason is that over time, negative reviews slowly changed the rating to mix. Now, if you check out the graph here back in 2024, this is a great example of a review bomb because there were tons of negative reviews all at once. Essentially, that's what happened, and that was back when the PSN link was announced and a ton of regions were blocked as well. There was a smaller review bomb about a year later, this year actually, when some Helldivers were upset that we couldn't liberate a city on Super Earth. That was on May 29th. Funny enough, it happened around the same time last year when a ton of players left negative reviews about the blocked regions and PSN link. Anyway, what you see here is nowhere close to what we saw back in May of this year and last year. We know Xbox players have dropped a ton of negative reviews on Xbox recently, and I talked about that previously. So hopefully that helps and answers any questions you might have about it. Lastly, let's go over the top 3 comments. Right here, the first one is from Spring Year Book. that talked about a really bad glitch on Xbox. So basically on Helldivers 2, it'll freeze, or he says freeze/stutter bug, and then there's some audio issues, and then it starts to freeze. We know that's also an issue on PC, and I believe it's also a problem on PlayStation. And yeah, hopefully that'll be resolved soon. We know it was listed on the recent announcement. The second top comment is from Edge of Sky 6684 that talked about the Meridia and how it's reopened for travel. Made him think, oh, it's really cool. There's some background when they do homework. And then they realized that, yeah, this could potentially be teasing something. And you're not wrong. It absolutely could be. I think it's either going to bring us new illuminated enemies, or we're going to close it or control it. I think one of the two. However, there was a comment below that brought up how there were drones sent inside, and I totally forgot about that. The third and final top comment is from me for reals that spoke on the situation with content. They do not want to see any new content until the game is actually playable, and I believe about 99% of the community would totally agree with you on that, and I definitely do for sure. With that said, those are the top 3 comments. Hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, consider smashing the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on notifications if you haven't done so already, and I appreciate you all, from the subscribers, members, and lurkers. Remember, lurkers, it's nothing against you when I say lurker, by the way. Just subscribe. It's completely free, and this way you can, I don't know, be up to date on what goes on within the Helldivers 2 universe. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.